Are freezing winter temperatures hard on swimming pools? Oh boy, yeah, you bet they are, and a host of different ways actually, and each and every individual component potentially suffers a little bit as the result of being exposed to this harsh freezing winter climate that you get in some areas. I happen to be located in one of these areas in the Great White North where we get terribly freezing winter temperatures, and there are a host of problems that, like, I've even been coast to coast in Canada, and if you're not familiar, the GTA area is a vast frozen wasteland in the winter, but the West Coast in the Vancouver area has a much more temperate climate, and it often snows and ices over very little, and some people operate swimming pools year round in that climate versus here. So I've seen the difference between pools built and never exposed to ice. Then the pools that are built and year after year, they're exposed to frigid sub-zero temperatures for prolonged periods of time. And there's a huge difference in the pool. The whole industry looks entirely different. On the West Coast, it's almost all concrete pools. And, in the East Coast, GTA, any place where it's really cold, the saying is vinyl is king or vinyl liner is king because these pools dominate the market where there's freezing temperatures, and there's good reason for that. There are other pool options out there like fiberglass pools and various kinds of concrete pools like gunite, shotcrete, tile, cast, all these different ones. But the interior surface of those concrete pools does not really fare well. There's not really any proper way to protect them if there's going to be, freezing, or ice freezing on the surface level, and the walls and the sub or the surface being exposed to freezing weather, where you can get like pitting of concrete surfaces. You can get tiles cracking or popping off if they're not the right kind of tile or they're not installed correctly. And all of these deficiencies add up, and all of the pools that I saw that were not exposed to cold climate freezing conditions, they last so much longer and look so much better while they're doing it. Like a plaster on a concrete pool where it gets exposed to even one freezing winter looks way worse than a 7-year-old plaster on a pool in Vancouver that's never seen any freezing weather. So that cold climate really is, hard on surfaces. Concrete, you get spalling from this freeze and thaw because it'll warm up at some point, during the end of the season where we're heading towards warmer temperatures. You'll get a day where it's kind of warm and you get a whole bunch of melt, and that melt saturates into your concrete because concrete is a porous substance. And even if you don't have a concrete pool, you probably got a whole ton of concrete around your pool, and this is part of the whole pool area. So all of that water now saturates the concrete, but at night it freezes again. You're not into the warm temperatures yet. And that freeze and thaw cycle, anybody who lives in a cold climate area can attest to this already. That is the one that does all the damage. That's where you get like ground heave and you get spalling of concrete surfaces because, like, of course, the water absorbs in, but then it freezes, so it expands when it freezes. And if you don't have concrete that has an air entrainer into it, which is essentially like tiny champagne soap bubbles mixed into your concrete to give some place for expanding water into ice to go without fracturing the concrete, you're going to be spalling the surface all over the place. It's going to be ruined, and such is the nature of concrete in cold climate applications. We haven't even talked about plumbing yet, like possibly the most important thing when it comes to swimming pools surviving a cold climate versus a warmer climate. It's so bad. It's so bad for pool plumbing systems that cold climate areas rely on flex PVC. Flex PVC, if you want to read some people saying some terrible stuff, read reviews about flex PVC and how crappy it is and how unsuitable it is for building swimming pools, and it doesn't last, and it's only rated for very low pressure. Technically speaking, it's not even pipe, it's technically hose. Like, you'll seldom read a good thing about it. So why then, you tell me, are 95% of the pools which are built in these cold climate areas, 95% of them use flexible PVC? You can use other more mainstream materials like rigid PVC or poly pipe. There's different plastics available that you could use, but there's drawbacks to each one of them. Usually something like rigid pipe, like that's the mainstream thing that's used for swimming pools these days. Schedule 40 rigid PVC pipe. But in a cold climate application, the one thing that that rigid pipe is kind of weakened in, like the stats building, is shatter resistance. Shatter resistance in cold temperatures is really not good for that. And if you have a shatter, that's not like a leak, right? Like the pipe shattered. And more likely, if the pipe shattered, all of the pipes that were run in this trench shattered. And now every pipe in your pool is shattered. That doesn't sound like a good thing at all. And that's why builders tend to lean towards the flexible PVC in these cold climate areas, because it's just so hard to accommodate that rigid plumbing. It can actually be done. It can totally be done that you can use rigid plumbing in cold climate applications, but it's not, people always say that to me. Oh, I saw my builder was going to use flex, and so I told him use rigid. It's not really how it works, right? Like from the ground up, you design it differently when you're using rigid PVC. You do things like dig your trenches lower below the frost line. You use pipe sleeves or collars anytime you're transitioning through the frost layer or up through the ground to prevent the heave from breaking your pipes. Like there's different things you do, and the average builder who's not using the rigid PVC doesn't have the skills or experience to just swap one for the other. You're going to end up with all of your pipes being broken because you're sticking your nose in and trying to tell them, hey, do it like this because that's the way that I want it done. I appreciate where you're coming from, trying to protect your interests. And I even like what you're saying here, because I agree that flex pipe is inferior in every way that we could measure it, save for that shatter resistance. And that one thing and one thing only makes it suitable for this application when you know that it is of limited viability for longevity. You're not going to get 50 years out of it, most likely. And in some areas it's worse than others. If you have certain things like termites and things like that, they can be really aggressively bad with flex pipe because they just chew holes in it. And then what are you going to do? All of your pipes have like hundreds of holes in it. It's a real problem. There's other problems associated with it, like it's susceptible to concentrated chlorine damage. Like if you keep all of your chlorine pucks in your skimmer, which you shouldn't do, that flex pipe from your skimmer will expand and swell and start to close off the opening. Like your pump will still run, it just won't run very well, won't run very efficiently, and eventually it's going to become a leak problem because that pipe's chemically ruined and chemically altered, and it will never be the same again. There's a host of disadvantages to that product, but the advantage being is that it's probably not going to break the first winter due to every pipe in your pool shattering. And there's also a component here about cost, right? Like a cost for a pool in this area is a lot lower because the real estate values are lower. On the West Coast, real estate values are a lot higher, commonly speaking. And as a result, the property values are more, and they can support larger, more expensive pools where you can spend more money digging deeper trenches, maybe having concrete chaseways that you use to protect the plumbing itself, things like that. There's things you can do. It's not just swapping one for the other. So winters are hard on pools in more than one way, from interior surfaces to plumbing, and even just the longevity of the equipment that's stored outside and exposed to these, seasonal changes year after year. But I mean, there's the flip side to this. If you live in Arizona and you have pool equipment sitting outside just getting beat down by 1,000,000-degree sun every day, well, those are also going to be problems. They're going to create longevity issues. So I guess we all have our own concerns, but in short, yeah, cold weather is definitely hard on pools and hard on various aspects of the pool. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.